When Leon returned home in a cheerful mood, I was pouring untouched food into the trash bin. Yesterday was our wedding anniversary. He had told me just the two of us celebrating would be boring, and suggested inviting his friends over. I had taken a day off from work to prepare, shopping for groceries, cleaning the house, setting up the living room, and cooking. But I waited all night, and no one came, not even my husband. Only through social media did I discover he had instead gone to celebrate Zenia's birthday, which had already been celebrated just a month ago. In the photo, Zenia had cream on her nose, and her cheek was pinched by someone who was wearing a wedding ring identical to mine. The caption read, "Someone insists on celebrating my birthday on the 18th of every month. It's wonderful to be adored. You made the steak?" Leon glanced at the steak I had discarded in the trash bin and sighed. "If you are not good at cooking, don't waste food." Previously, I would have confronted him for abandoning me to celebrate with Zenia. Now, I didn't care anymore. I had to clean up and discard the remnants of last night's preparations. Leon unexpectedly stopped me as I was cleaning up, pointing to a takeout box. "Nora, I brought you a cake." "Okay." I appreciated the gesture, as Leon always tried to mollify me with treats whenever I was upset, assuming that eating would smooth things over. Glancing at the cake, I had never seen a birthday cake packaged in a takeout box before. Clearly, it was leftovers from Zenia last night. "Start eating, babe. I'll go take a shower first." Watching him happily head for the bathroom, I continued cleaning up the trash. As I picked up the scissors to cut the flowers on the table, his phone lit up. He always set it to silent mode when he came home. Without meaning to, I saw a message from Zenia on the screen. "Leon, you were so naughty last night. My waist still hurts. I knew you were always trying to peek at my phone." Nora Wilson. Leon snatched the phone from me with his temper flaring. The scissors slipped and cut my palm. Blood flowed immediately. Leon looked at me impatiently, as if I was causing trouble again. "Stupid," he muttered reluctantly. "Come on, let's go to the hospital." I didn't refuse. The wound was quite deep and painful. As we drove, I noticed our car, which we had chosen together, now bore traces of Zenia. Two small dolls, a male and a female kissing, sat on the dashboard, both bearing the engraved names of Leon and Zenia. His eyes flickered with a hint of embarrassment. Zenia thought my car was too bare and gave me those dolls casually. I pressed gauze against my palm, staying calm. It's fine. When I first bought the car, I bought a small doll to stick on the passenger side's dashboard, but he just threw it away. He said those things were all flashy and impractical, and would also obstruct the driver's view. Seeing that I was not upset, Leon looked at me strangely. "Aren't you angry?" "Why would I be? I no longer cared about him, so why let these things affect me?" I stared ahead. "I need to go to the hospital for work today. Let's hurry." Leon sped up as he noticed the blood seeping through the gauze on my hand. Just before the hospital, his phone rang and he glanced nervously at me, but seeing my calm demeanor, he answered, "Baby, my back hurts so badly, I can't get up. It must be from last night. You need to come and help me." He didn't put it on speakerphone, but I still heard her voice. I looked out the window as if I hadn't heard anything. Leon hung up and immediately floored the accelerator, turning right toward Zenia's place. Passing a pharmacy, he suddenly stopped, ran in, and emerged with a tube of massage cream. He then drove straight to her apartment. When the car stopped, Leon hurriedly got out and told me, "I'll get a document and we'll be back in 5 minutes." After he locked the car, time blurred as dizziness and pain overtook me, and my bandage was soon soaked with blood. Eventually, passers-by found me unconscious, broke the car window, called an ambulance, and took me to the hospital. In the evening, Leon finally returned home. I was sitting quietly, sipping porridge. "Where's my dinner?" he asked. He knew about my injury, but still told me he'd be home for dinner. Yet, I had only ordered for myself. My face pale, I continued eating. I didn't check my phone. He noticed the cake on the table, untouched, and asked, "Didn't you have any cake?" Too weary to even lift my eyelids, I muttered, "Maybe it went bad after sitting out." Leon seemed to remember something and handed me a gift bag. "Here's a new lipstick. Don't go to work looking too plain." After finishing the last sip of porridge, my lips drained of blood and had lost their color. "You can give it to someone else. I'm allergic to lipstick." When I first got together with Leon, he once gave me lipstick, but I told him I was allergic. He had seemed embarrassed then, thinking I wore lipstick because my lips were naturally rosy. It seemed he just remembered that. I set down the bowl, took my phone, and sat on the couch, watching funny videos, and laughing. Noticing the bandaged hand, Leon finally remembered to check on my wound. He reached out, but I instinctively recoiled, accidentally knocking the lipstick to the floor. His expression turned cold. "Nora, you just had to wait a little longer in the car. Is that such a big deal? I didn't even fuss that you broke the window. I remained indifferent. How much to fix that? I'll pay, Leon, unable to contain his sarcasm, retorted. With the little you earn, what can that do? Would you be as open-minded as Zenia? She's much younger but far more mature. Both Leon and I are 30 this year, while Zenia has just graduated from college. She is 8 years younger than us. In every argument, Leon harped on about age. I used to fight back, but this time I remained calm, nodding. Yes, you're right. Glancing at the time and realizing it was almost time to meet my friend, I grabbed my bag and left. Leon, thinking I was making another dramatic exit, his expression soured. Nora, what now? He actually chased after me, a change from his usual dismissive sneer, and retreated to his phone. I casually replied, just going home to get something. Leon opened his mouth but ended up saying nothing. I was actually consulting with my friend about divorce. My phone beeped. It was Leon, asking where I was. I didn't respond. My friend tentatively asked, Nora, he never used to call when you went out before. Do you think he knows you're considering divorce and regrets it? Everyone knew how much I loved Leon. Calmly, I asked, if your ex-husband regretted it, would you go back? She resolutely shook her head, no longer pressing the issue, and we discussed the divorce until late. I returned home in the early hours to find Leon lounging on the couch, watching his favorite basketball game, but glued to his phone. Seeing me, he didn't even look up. I ignored him and headed straight for the shower. After drying off and turning off the lights, I got into bed. Leon came in and without a word, hugged me from behind and began fondling me. I caught his hand and pushed it away forcefully. Annoyed, he slapped the light back on. Didn't you say you want? In the past, whenever I brought up the topic of having a child, he would be impatient. Today, when he brought it up, I dampened his enthusiasm. Lying on my side, I replied, I'm tired. I have to work tomorrow. These were words that he often said to me before. Nora, you're the one saying no this time, so please don't blame me later. He left the bedroom, slamming the door loudly. For many days after that, Leon slept in the guest room. This was his way of manipulating me. Whenever he slept separately, I would have sleepless nights, and then the next day, I would seek reconciliation with him. He didn't expect this time. I had no reaction at all, and slept surprisingly well. Instead, it was he who tossed and turned, frequently glancing towards the master bedroom whenever he went to the bathroom. For half a month, I stayed quiet and composed. One day, when we both had a day off, Leon saw me in the room and made an olive branch offer. I'm going to buy breakfast. What would you like? How about some pastries? I nodded, sure. Relieved by my response, he left and didn't return. That afternoon, I saw wedding photos of Leon and Zenia posted by Mark in our alumni group chat. In all the pictures of Leon, Zenia was clinging to his arm, both of them smiling happily. I was eating some takeout and scrolling through photos when Leon's call came through. He seemed eager to explain something. Nora, I was just out buying breakfast when I remembered Mark was getting married today. One of the groomsmen had to bail last minute, and they roped me in as a replacement. I actually planned to bring you along. I nodded. Well, congratulations to him. Aren't you angry? Why should I be angry? There was a long silence on the phone. Thinking it was a bad signal, I was about to hang up when I heard Leon say, there's another gathering after the wedding tonight. Get ready. I'll come to pick you up. I was about to refuse when the call abruptly ended. When Leon came to pick me up, Zenia was already sitting in her usual spot in the passenger seat, waving at me through the window. Nora, you missed Mark's wedding today. I thought you were snubbing us. Ignoring her, I calmly opened the back door and got in. Throughout the ride, Leon kept sneaking glances at me, and Zenia, clearly annoyed, after sizing me up, remarked snidely, Nora, couldn't you have dressed up a bit? Even though you're not the youngest, showing up like this to a gathering, people might think you're from a different generation. I lifted my head, meeting Leon's gaze in the rearview mirror. He furrowed his brows and said, try to spruce up a bit when you go out next time. Unperturbed, I continued to engage with my phone, leaving Leon to awkwardly attempt small talk for the rest of the journey. Upon arriving at the venue, Mark quickly came over to explain why he had to draft Leon in as a groomsman, assuring me that Leon would have brought me along otherwise. He downed 3 penalty drinks to show his regret. I wasn't at all upset. Don't blame yourself. Happy wedding. While everyone was initially shocked not to see me make a scene as before, I acted as if I was an entirely different person, disinterested in their surprise. Soon, the atmosphere livened up again. Someone wanted to make Zenia a drink, and she looked pitifully at Leon, who promptly stepped in to shield her from the drink. Observing the familiar yet alien Leon, I realized I might never have truly known him. On our third anniversary, during dinner, one of his friends insisted I drink, despite my protests of feeling unwell. Leon, thinking I was just throwing a temper tantrum, forced me to drink. I ended up in the hospital that night, where I learned I had miscarried. When I woke up, sweating from the pain, instead of comforting me, he lashed out at me. As a woman, you didn't even know you were pregnant? Why do you always do that at men's gatherings? Happy now that you've lost the child. Recalling this suffocated me, making me realize how foolish I had been not to see through him earlier. I grabbed my bag and left directly. Surprisingly, Leon followed me home immediately. As soon as we entered, he erupted. Nora, have you had enough fun? It's Mark's wedding, and you just had to spoil his mood, didn't you? Seeing my silence, he became even more emboldened. If you keep this up, we should just get a divorce. Previously, such a threat would have terrified me into tears and apologies. This time, I simply took a deep breath and felt an immense relief. Fine, I agreed calmly. He paused, stunned as if he'd misheard. What did you say? I looked steadily into his eyes and said, I said I agree to the divorce. Without waiting for his reaction, I took out the divorce agreement from the drawer. Take a look. If everything is fine, sign it. Leon, seeing the words, divorce agreement, widened his eyes in disbelief. You want to divorce me? I frowned. Wasn't that your idea? Since he got what he wanted, why was he angry? Leon pushed away the divorce agreement I handed him. No wonder you're not making a fuss anymore. You've learned some new tricks. He took his clothes and left, not returning for over half a month. One night, deep in sleep, I was awoken by a call from Mark. He informed me that Leon was suffering from severe stomach pain after drinking too much and urged me to come quickly. Lazily, I replied, if his stomach hurts, take him to the hospital. I'm not a doctor. Call Zenia if it gets worse. Leon didn't go anywhere but instead went back home. Bizarrely, he started picking me up from work regularly. I didn't fuss, comfortably settling into the back seat each time, treating him merely as my driver. Early in our marriage, he couldn't wait to drive me to and from work. Later, he complained it was inconvenient and stopped. Yet, he'd go out of his way to pick up and drop off Zenia, claiming it was just proper to look after a young graduate like her. Moreover, he kept sending me flowers, which I routinely tossed in the trash. In the past, I'd have flaunted his flowers on social media. This time, however, his relentless social media checks only revealed that my last post was from 4 years ago, right after the miscarriage. Baby, if only you were still alive. He irritably turned off his phone. He seemed to have forgotten about the divorce. I didn't push it because my lawyer was still gathering evidence. My best friend invited me to a bar, saying we should celebrate my impending divorce. To my surprise, as soon as I arrived at the bar, I saw Leon. His eyes lit up with surprise at my appearance, and without waiting for a response, he dragged me into their private room. The atmosphere shifted oddly as everyone's eyes turned to Zenia. She looked at me and said, Nora, are you used to hanging out in places like this with us young folks? Can you handle it? She casually flicked her hair, deliberately showing her hand with a ring on it. It was Leon's wedding ring. This ring was custom designed by me, and Leon said he would never take it off in his lifetime. Noticing this, Leon nervously pulled me aside, explaining hastily, we were just playing a game, I lost, and that's why she's wearing the ring. I texted my friend to ask for their room number, nodding casually. Yeah, it suits her. Just as Leon was about to explain further, Zenia suddenly pulled me closer, her eyes brimming with feigned innocence. Nora, are you misunderstanding me and Leon again? She covered her chest as if guiding me to look at her chest, where I caught a glimpse of a tattoo of a man and a woman kissing. This tattoo, I had seen it on Leon before. I met his panicked look with a deceptive smile, and made a move that shocked